Good evening, everyone. We are live once again from the Donatorium for another episode of The Fat Minute. Joined tonight by my co-hosts, two in the pink, one in the stink, BVJ.
Hello.
I could tell he did not like that one at all. We also have special guest tonight, very funny, Miss September herself, Ashley Pontius.
Oh, thank you.
And I am, of course, your host, Don John, face down, ass up. Ashley, you are a busy person. You have a couple shows coming up. You have...
Wait, hold up. Aren't those Pitbull lyrics?
I don't know.
Oh, no, wait. Face down, ass up. That's the way I like to fuck. I think that's ludicrous.
Oh, okay.
I don't listen.
Yeah.
I don't listen to Pitbull really, so I couldn't tell you.
No, it's ludicrous. Get out the way. Yeah.
But Ashley, you are a busy person. You have a couple shows coming up where you will be doing stand-up. You are doing first the Art Gastropub this Friday, October 2nd. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's correct.
That. Yep, that is at 8 p.m. in Hagerstown, Maryland. You are also doing the State Theater. I hope I'm pronouncing the name of this city right. Havre de Grace. Okay, that's October 10th at 8 p.m. as well. You can buy tickets for that show at bigtimingcomedy.com/events. And you are also the co-host of the Quality Time podcast that you can find on Spotify, Podbean, and Apple, where you guys discuss movies, comedy, TV. I actually listened to a little bit of your most recent episode, Runaway, earlier. Pretty funny stuff. I especially love the beginning where your host, Eric, talking about how he was going to ruin everybody's day at a show by talking about his dead dog.
I love Eric. Eric is fantastic. Unfortunately, Eric has been sick the last 2 days. He got what's called cellulitis, which is like an infection of the skin. Which is like really surprising. It hasn't happened to him before because he's just such a garbage human being. But I love him so much. We miss him. You know, he had the podcast way before I ever came on, and I'm just so grateful that he made me third chair.
Well, I hope everybody is doing fantastic tonight, because I am not.
Oh.
I might actually die tonight. Like, I'm running on like 3 hours of sleep, and it's not because I couldn't sleep. It is my own fault. Like, I randomly started playing Scarface on the PS2 last night, and I got so caught up in selling cocaine to cholos and gringos that like before I realized it was 5 a.m. And I had like for lunch I ate like a bunch of cheesy breadsticks, and then for dinner I just had hot dogs and mac and cheese because I'm a 12-year-old. And I've been drinking coffee all day. Like, guys, I'm legit, like, I'm doing this podcast on the toilet ass naked right now.
I was about to ask how you haven't shit yourself yet.
Yeah, like, I'm 3 seconds away from looking like that Chappelle Show skit in slow motion.
Can you tell me about the Scarface game? Like, is it even worth playing?
Oh, my God.
Or are you just doing it with nostalgia?
Oh, it is. Like, I haven't played this game since high school, and I forgot I even had it. And I forgot how fucking over the top and silly it is, but like in the most beautiful way.
It's a sequel, right?
Yeah, it's a what if sequel. Like, what if?
Like he survives the ending of the movie. Yeah. Is it free roaming?
Yeah.
Okay.
It plays exactly like Grand Theft Auto.
Okay. Huh. Did they actually get Al Pacino for it?
They got his likeness, but they got someone else to voice him because Al Pacino ruined his voice with years of chain smoking.
I mean. Yeah. I remember when we first showed The Godfather Part 1 to our other friend, who was also named Zach, and he was like, wait, who is that? And this was like, what, 1972?
Yeah.
And you go, that's Al Pacino. And you could just tell he was thinking of what he's like now, and he leans back and goes, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get into it tonight. We're going to be talking about the year 2005. Fun stuff happened this year.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to start off with a fun event. The launch of YouTube happened in 2005. YouTube almost immediately became like a way of life. I remember being in like high school when YouTube first started picking up, and it got to the point, I don't know if like this happened whatever high school you went to, Ashley, but I remember it got to the point where high schools would block the website.
Yes. So it's funny. You are correct. Like, they were worried we weren't getting work done.
Right.
Also, fun story, that wasn't the only reason. I also went to a Christian private school.
Oh.
and there was a lot of concern that we might start to touch ourselves at school. So we were forbidden from using YouTube, but I shit you not, you guys, I wish I would have prepped for that. I would have looked it up. I'm pretty sure at one point there was a website called GodTube, and it was like Christian only type videos, and that was allowed to be used.
It is still up apparently. I'm looking at it right now.
Oh my God.
GodTube. At GodTube, enjoy worship music and Christian concert updates, cute and comedy videos, and clean viral videos to brighten your day.
Oh no, that's just wholesome.
Oh God, and you know it is so funny because if Blake, if you have heard anything about me from Donnie, that is very much not who I am today. So they couldn't save us all.
Oh,
they couldn't
how nice!
Save all of us.
I just went to the homepage and it's already giving me a million pop-ups, so I'm gonna exit out of that. So.
Oh man, they'll probably hate with like Christian Mingle and Farmers Only, and be like, God intended for you to grow a farm and grow a seed in her belly.
You're getting hit with those digital missionaries.
And my Google Chrome is even sending me the messages right now, basically trying to be like, "Hey, are
get the
you
fuck
sure
out of
right
here!"
Now? Yeah.
Dude, if you don't get out of this website, I'm gonna set your hard drive on fire right now.
All right. So I believed you, but I had to be like, okay.
You had to see it.
I had to see it. I had to see it.
But like I was saying, YouTube immediately became a way of life. I remember so many different things just starting and finding their beginnings on YouTube, and I remember for the longest time, like if you had a couple of friends and you had like one or two decent video cameras between you and you had a somewhat decent idea, you could probably get a decent following on YouTube. I think in the past recent years a lot of that luster has gone. I think especially after Google took over, I think YouTube has become so constrictive with its rules and its algorithms and everything else. It is not even really a viable platform anymore. I mean, I remember one of the first channels I watched on YouTube, and they still upload stuff to this day. Channel called Blame Society Films. They first started out with this thing called Chad Vader. Have you guys heard of that?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, basically the plot of it is it's Darth Vader's younger and less talented brother Chad who works in a grocery store.
Yeah,
it's great, but they stopped doing that like years ago, and since 2010, one show they've been doing is called Beer and Board Games, which literally they just drink and play board games. It's funny shit.
Those were the same guys?
Yeah, those are the same guys.
Oh, I never realized that.
Yeah, but
okay.
They have been doing beer and board games for 10 years, and for the past several years, they get absolutely no ad revenue from YouTube on beer and board games. The reason being because the word beer is in the title, something that is sold legally in stores across the country. That causes YouTube to flag them. So YouTube has definitely lost a lot of its luster in recent years.
And you know, I would agree with you. I don't know if either of you listen to like Your Mom's House podcast with Tom Segura and Christina P. No. I'm a huge fan of theirs, and I mean they're filthy, and I love it. But they have been cited so many times, just constant citations, even just like. Not even like pictures or anything, and not even like tags for the video, but censored for whatever they say on the video.
Right.
And that's like wild to me that they've had their audio taken down, they've had their clips banned, they've been told like they've had like probation for posting things, and I'm like, I understand, you know, there's certain limits to decency and things like that, but isn't it crazy like when you guys look back at 2005? Isn't it crazy to think how far we've come in the need for control?
Right.
Like it's
YouTube is expecting its creators to be parents and parent other people's kids, and it's like no. Yeah. That's their responsibility. And it's also it's just become so commercialized and so corporate since Google took over, because I remember, you know, pre-2013 when Google bought YouTube, the top YouTube channels were channels that were just like started by a couple of dudes who had a vision and they, you know, wanted to get it out there. And if you look at it now, the top YouTube channels are these channels that have like these huge like movie studio level budgets almost.
Which defeats the entire point.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Right.
Well, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, I was going to say something that was interesting also to me. Not that we have to stay in like a realm of comedy, but I was a huge fan of Bo Burnham when he was coming up because we're about the same age.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember for me distinctly being the same age as him and watching him literally grow a career
Exactly.
out of being discovered online. And after that, and I mean, we see it now, this like absurdity and obsession with people not having like dreams and skills anymore and being like, I just want to be famous for putting on makeup in front of other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My fucking ex watched channels like that all the time.
Ugh.
There's a reason why she's an ex.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. I can't. I have had girls straight up tell me that, like, my dream is to, like, be an influencer. And I was like, oh, that's amazing. I bet you don't have a gag reflex anymore either.
Jesus Christ.
And they're like, how did you know that? And I'm like, I don't know. Just intuition, I guess. And I should have been like, no, I saw it on your YouTube channel. You did a tutorial.
Blake, what do you got to say?
Can we just reminisce of like our favorite videos from
I
like
was
the
about to ask
golden
that,
age?
I was about to say, like, what is your guys' like first like video that you remember like showing to all of your friends, like going to and be like, you need to see this shit?
Well, of course I remember the dramatic look hamster.
Yeah.
That played like the music and zoomed in. But I mean, come on, if you bring up like the golden age of YouTube, you have to bring up the greatest saga, which was the world's greatest freak out. The kid who his mom had canceled his World of Warcraft account, and he goes huffing and puffing in his room, and he's like, you know, he takes off his shirt and he's like screaming and flaring his body around and, you know, bouncing his entire body off the bed. And so finally he takes the remote control in his room.
He cornholes himself.
And starts acting like he's shoving it up his ass.
Yeah.
And one of the things he says, let me just get to this. He literally screams, "Is this what you want?" As though his mom and dad are literally going to go, "Yes, that is exactly the kind of response that I wanted out of you. I wanted you to take the TiVo remote and shove it up your butt."
Like I actually showed that video to Amber for the first time like about a month ago. Because I showed her a meme that somebody shared on Facebook where it was just like a screenshot of like the empty room with the closet open, and it's just like, if you were like a kid at like, if you were this age at this time, you know what this is. And Amber was like, I don't know what that is. I was like, are you for real right now?
Wow.
And I showed it to her, and she like she couldn't hang.
It's timeless.
It is.
And then as it went on, it was like he got like a beat up truck for his birthday, and then he takes like a bat and breaks the windows and stuff. And then it came to a certain point where it's like, okay, this might not be completely real.
Right. A lot of that stage stuff, like as people were so desperate for that attention and the fame, that it was like, I'm just gonna just keep doing it and make it look like it's real. And I was like, no, okay. Like,
and that's why now you have those quote unquote prank pit videos.
Yes.
It's just a prank, bro.
Prank, bro.
Which I cannot stand those prank videos because I'm just like, oh my God, I can only watch a woman tell her husband she's pregnant so many times.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But then it evolved into like they weren't even pranks anymore. Like, there's like a random dude walking down the boardwalk, like daring girls to make out with him for 30 seconds straight, and it's like that's not a prank. Like I don't know. But what were some other good videos from the heyday though? Would you say?
Will it blend?
Will it blend?
You never heard of Will It Blend?
Is that where the guy's like throwing eggs in the toilet and stuff?
No, that's
too basic.
That's how to basic. That's a completely different thing,
Jesus
buddy.
Christ.
Okay, all right.
No, Will It Blend was a show in like the very beginning of YouTube that literally just a dude like, hey, let's throw this random thing in a blender and see what happens. Another show around the same time that I was a fan of that was a lot more entertaining in all honesty was, is it a good idea to microwave this? It had a much higher sense of danger.
Do you remember Make Me Bad 35?
No.
Oh.
Oh no, I guess like his main video was he did the reaction to Two Girls One Cup, and he started like freaking out and getting all like he like made his voice all high pitched and stuff. He wasn't doing Fred. Like Fred was just I didn't like Fred.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and his neighborhood had always looked familiar, and then like years later we found out that it was Deep Creek Lake all along.
Oh wow.
And he lives like in the tri-state area, because I remember when Michael and I went to see The Rise of Skywalker in Hagerstown, he went to the same showing as us.
Oh.
And I was like, I saw him and I kept doing double takes. I'm like, wait a second, that's that guy who screamed over that poop.
What a way to put it.
And I wanted to like be like, oh hey, I remember you, but then I was like, you know what? I had to I don't know, maybe I was overthinking it, but I wanted to put myself in his shoes, because I would want to be like, hey man, like I was fucking bored 10 years ago and I just want to be left alone now.
Speaking of like Two Girls One Cup reaction videos, the best one of those I saw was where somebody had like a show quality Kermit the Frog puppet and did like Kermit the Frog reacting to Two Girls One Cup.
Yeah.
They did they did a perfect voice of it too, and it was, oh my god, like 10 years later it still makes me wheeze watching it.
It was good. It was good.
I remember, not that it was like particularly good, but it's still, I mean, I think all of us would agree to this day, just kind of sits in your brain at the dumbest times and makes its way up through the soil of your subconscious, which is Chocolate Rain.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's just so like bizarre and unique and strange, and you just like don't know what to do with it, and then it's like you had the Numa kid and it's just all this useless shit just like taking up all this room in your brain.
I went an entire decade without thinking about the Numa song, and then randomly like a month ago one day at work it was just stuck in my head the entire day, and I don't know how it popped up, because it wasn't, for lack of a better metaphor, it wasn't buried at the bottom of the treasure chest. Like it wasn't anywhere in my brain for the past like 10-15 years, but then randomly like I'm just like standing there at work like humming to it. But
yeah, and that's kind of the amazing thing about the creation of viral videos, right? Where it's like not only was everybody talking about it, but it was like an obsession, and then it would like come into the lexicon because of YouTube. Like, I mean, things like Charlie bit my finger.
Oh yeah,
Like it just stuck with people for months. I mean, it's been years, and we all still remember this dumb fucking shit.
Yeah. And it was just, I don't know, it was the staple of a snow day or going to your buddy's house after school. And then the movie studios were able to get their own accounts and be like, oh wait, you can watch the official trailer, and because it won't be taken down because of copyright. And it's like, can't y'all just let us have anything? Like, I don't know.
I remember, like, speaking of stuff like that, I remember a couple years ago when I was doing movie reviews on YouTube, because I'm a white dude in my 20s, I did an episode where I reviewed The Dark Knight. And there was not a single second of the entire movie anywhere in my video. The only thing in the video was I put the movie poster in the video, and Warner Brothers still hit me with a copyright claim.
Wow.
And YouTube approved it.
Yeah, I gotta love that stuff. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty great.
Yeah.
That's a very, very interesting point. And I think even now, I would say so. I think that type of control, I think, continues to push the innovation and people to do their own thing that has nothing to do with, something that's copyrighted or created by someone else. I think that only continues to push the creation of new content, because it's like, if all you're going to do is censor me, I'm just going to create my own shit. Like, let's get some shows.
Yeah.
Like,
it's... Yeah. Yeah.
All right, well, let's move on. Next topic. A little bit more fun. Hurricane Katrina.
Oh man.
Oh, I'm excited. Oh, baby.
Oh my god, like, talk about a fucking path of destruction. The thing I remember most about this is I remember when it happened and the news broke out and I was watching all the, like, devastation of it. I immediately thought back to what my 5th grade teacher had said, like, 2 years prior. I think we were discussing geography and shit like that, and he was, like, talking about how, like, elevation and geography determines the weather of the area just as much as, like, how close and how far it is from the equator and shit like that. And I distinctly remember that teacher saying, New Orleans needs to, like, do something about their levee system, because if they don't and a big enough hurricane comes through, that city's going to end up underwater. Yep. And 2 years later, this happened, and that was the first thing I immediately thought of. Yep. And then I thought, I think somebody needs to, like, check that teacher out.
Yeah.
I think he knows something we don't.
Oh my God. I think they'd been saying it unfortunately for years. I mean, they had been warned. Not that I'm not in any way, shape, or form passing blame on what happened. Right. But unfortunately, they were told for a long time. You know, look, the right set of circumstances happens, you're in huge trouble.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, I remember that being a huge, like, talking point of the aftermath of it. Like, you know, you guys should have did something about this years ago. I mean,
can we also just say, like, who fucking builds a city below sea level?
Right? Like,
it's
fucking Cajuns.
Oh man, they're just so easy to hate. Just got that mush mouth. Oh God.
Yeah. And go ahead, Blake.
I don't know if I feel comfortable on this podcast anymore.
I heard the record
Donnie,
scratch on that one.
Donnie, did you invite Mel Gibson on or something? Like,
no, I don't talk about that here.
So I'm actually related to Cajuns now.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. Yes. My brother-in-law is from Louisiana. I don't know. I've never told you that before.
I'm sorry.
Oh. So I remember my sister had her wedding in New Orleans that May, and the worst of Katrina happened in late August, early
like
September.
That.
But yeah, so I was just in that city, just months before that happened. It's a really beautiful city. The food alone was worth the trip. But yeah, I mean, it's just it was very haunting because I just couldn't help but think of, the doorman at the hotel and the waiter that made us laugh one night, and just if they were all right, what happened to them. And then fast forward, I remember that entire news headline, saga, really. It wasn't just, it went on for a while. I remember that was my first exposure to a guy named Glenn Beck.
Oh, man.
Because he had his own show on Fox already, I think so. And he had, like, an episode going into criticizing the mayor and, like, the new wall or the new levee. And I was watching him, and, like, even he wasn't even in this episode. He wasn't even that bad. He wasn't even that much like himself. And I was still young. But even then, I was like, there's something about this guy that I don't like. And he legit, unironically, unsarcastically used the phrase "riddle me this" with complete seriousness and sincerity. And I'm sitting there like, who the fuck are you? And then fast forward, he has like 1 million books where he's screaming and crying on the cover, and he has a march that was supposed to like overshadow Martin Luther King Jr.'s anniversary. But yeah, but that's, I don't know.
I also want to point out, this is why Blake's going to get into heaven and I'm not, because natural disaster, the first thing he thinks of is, what about that waiter who was there when I was there?
You know what? You're totally right, because it took a lot of self-control, because he's like, I'm now related to Cajuns, and then he tells this heartfelt story, and I wanted to be like, oh, this is weird, because I was about to be like, I'm super thankful for Katrina for wiping out the Cajuns. But I'm kidding. Kidding.
I'm just gonna keep telling myself the whole episode you are a comedian, so it's okay.
Yeah. Like I don't actually like tell people who I hate out loud. So.
Oh, well, okay. Yeah. Well, I actually hate Ronald Reagan, so I can't take that one back. So. That's,
yeah, but did anybody really like Reagan? Like, let's
too
be
many.
honest.
Yep.
Yeah.
Many.
Yeah, that's fair.
I remember. Fair. He doesn't, but I do.
I'm sorry. Are we doing 2005 or? No,
okay. I'll give it back to Donnie.
Damn well better. Let's talk about North Korea, why don't we? North Korean nuke crisis. This was the year that North Korea decided to be like, hey, we feel threatened by the U.S., so we're pointing nukes right at you. And Blake, you've mentioned in previous episodes while we've been talking about the decade of the 2000s, like, you perfectly defined this entire decade, how it always seemed like there was something fucking going on.
Yeah.
And then we get to 2005, which for the most part was, a calmer year comparatively. And by this point, we captured Saddam Hussein, even though he wasn't the fucking problem, but we captured him anyway. Bin Laden was on the run. It was a matter of when, if not if, when it came to catching him. Seemed like everything was going to be okay. We're finally starting to heal from 9/11 a little bit. And then North Korea's like, hey, we're pointing nukes at you guys just because.
Yeah, we couldn't get away. We couldn't get away for too long in the year.
Nope.
So.
Yeah.
And then they're still doing this shit to this day.
Well, would have been, I don't know if it would have been 2005 or a year or two later. What year did the Team America movie come out? Because wasn't that kind of all focused around that?
That was the year before.
Year. It was the year before.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. Huh.
Yeah. And then when did Dennis Rodman go to North Korea?
That was 2012, 2013, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was we were in college when that happened.
Oh, okay. All right.
I know, it seems like something he would have been doing sooner.
Right?
There was a huge gap of what seemed like sanity, and then he's like, no, I'm going to go to North Korea. Oh, okay.
What?
We thought you were doing better. I thought you were taking your meds.
Plot twist, he has been. That's why he's going to North Korea.
I remember I got so worried about whatever that was, the crisis or whatever, and the only thing my brother-in-law could say to me was, first of all, that guy's never going to, and I guess, retroactively he was correct because the dad never did, but now if the son ever does anything, I guess we'll find out one day. But anyway, he goes, first of all, that guy's never going to do anything. He loves our movies too much. So, but
I don't know, that might have changed after Team America.
Now I'm trying to remember when did because he kidnapped a filming crew and he wouldn't let them leave the country until they taught him how to use a camera and do his own cinematography.
Man, I wish I had that kind of time just to kidnap somebody and be like, teach me how to use this.
Yeah. I mean, the whole country is basically a giant Scooby-Doo house, so it's just something very haunting about the whole thing. I've run out of things to say.
I'm sorry. Well, I'm sorry. I was just letting. I felt like Blake was having regrets about his life as he's just. I feel so bad because you're sharing these amazing points, and then I feel you kind of teetering out and you're getting quieter, and I'm like, oh man, he's having a lot of regrets right now. But I just wanted to let you.
I get funnier. I get funnier when we talk about movies. So yeah.
Oh no, I feel that. Well, especially after your reaction about Cajun people, I was like, oh man, how can I really take North Korea to the next level?
I mean, it's North Korea. You kind of have to.
Well, but you have to be super specific because you can't be like, well, fuck the Koreans. You got to be very specific about which Koreans can get fucked. So it's it's a very, you have to be really specific in who you're pointing out.
I'm never going to be able to fucking run for president.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry. Because you know what it is? I am on a podcast where I was like, this is going to be so much fun. And then the first day of working with my co-hosts, and they were talking about dead babies, and I was like, oh, I'm going to get canceled. So I think they've just deadened me on the inside, so now I've just become like a garbage heap like them.
I've been friends with Donnie since 2012. I cannot be deadened, so I am proof of that.
Yeah.
I've tried.
Yeah, he tried. He really did.
Well, you know what? That's funny, because when I met Donnie, I was like, look at this sullen young... Actually, Donnie, this is a true story. I don't know if you remember this or not. About, like, the first couple times I met you, I was like, this is a sad, sullen boy. This is a sad boy. And I forget why it came up, but I feel like we were picking at each other, and we were trying to feel out, like, what this like, could we be friends? What is this? And I made some, like, shitty comment about, like, oh, parents didn't love you or some shit. And you're like, haha, funny you bring that up. Thanks for bringing up my family situation, you turd. And it took a while to win back your trust. But like a rehabilitated pit bull, I have regained your love.
Just call me Michael Vick.
I mean, if you thought Donnie was innocent or something, then I'm basically the real life version of a Care Bear. That's.
Oh, you shoot loads out of your stomach? Like, what?
He does. It's pretty cool to see. I'm not gonna lie. You guys want to go to the movies now?
Yes.
I smell something burning in my house.
Really?
Yeah, I ain't lying right now.
Oh, I thought you were telling us you were having a stroke.
No, I've heard of that before. Like you smell burnt toast or something.
Yeah, that would have been great for the show. Like you start having.
Where?
Look, I was joking when I said I was going to give your job to Ashley.
I can't. I'm trying to. Even my cat's like sniffing in the air.
Yeah,
or something.
be careful. Definitely.
Is your wife making something? Like.
No, she's already in bed.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, yeah, she gets up at like 6 a.m.
Oh, you have like neighbors throwing out like one last campfire or something? Like.
I mean, they were setting off fireworks even a month after 4th of July. So.
Oh shit, Blake! Did you forget to turn off the meth?
No. Everybody on this block knows meth day is on Friday.
No, I mean, seriously, truly, take your time. Like, we don't want you to die. I mean, as much as that would be great content, I would feel kind of bad. Oh my god! Whenever your skin fries, it would be like Cajun seasoning. Okay, I'm done.
Jesus Christ.
I'm done.
I'm just not going to have many responses.
I feel so bad. I literally, for those that, like any new listeners, Donnie told me no one's going to see our faces, so I can't even see Blake's response to how he feels about me. I just feel his silence.
It's just that Pikachu meme over and over again.
Let's move on to movies.
Yeah.
All right.
First one, Constantine with Keanu Reeves. This movie's fucking stupid in my opinion.
Oh, fuck you.
I like it.
No, it's so dumb. Keanu Reeves, spends the entire movie being cool guy, like edgelord McCool guy. He's so moody and brooding, and it's so like overacted. Like the scene when he like traps that spider underneath that cup and blows cigarette smoke into it, and he's like, "Welcome to my world." I paused the movie and walked away for a solid like 5 minutes because it was so fucking stupid to me. Every scene when Balthasar, that dude he hates, Balthasar, is mentioned, and he's like, Balthasar. Like,
You're right. You are right about that.
It's so fucking dumb. It's so overacted. His beef with Balthasar is never explained. Like, why do they fucking hate each other? There's a lot of plot holes in this movie. Like, why is water used to go to hell? That bit at the end when he puts his arm tattoos together and he's like going Super Saiyan or whatever. What the fuck is he doing? This movie is so stupid. It's so overacted. You can't convince me otherwise. Fuck you.
Well, it's I don't know. I mean, I enjoy it. Look, if it wasn't based on the graphic novel, like I'd probably be less bitchy about it. Like, if it was a stand on its own movie, I think more people would just enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah.
But I think since it's riding on like a huge history and a huge brand, I think there's always that high expectation. And I didn't like. I don't. Here's the thing. I know exactly what you're saying about
Balthazar.
That is so true. But look, Keanu Reeves, like, you're right. Like, there were some hard spots, but him now as John Wick, I am obsessed with those movies. They are so much fun. I saw it, the third one, I saw it twice in theaters by myself, and I sat there every time someone got shot or stabbed. I was laughing my fucking head off. I was like, yeah, I got it in the eye. Like, I live for that. Like, look, I know he's not always the greatest actor. He's done some really weird shit roles, Constantine apparently being one of them. But it prepared him to shoot somebody over his dead dog, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blake?
I mean, I liked it when I first saw it, but I also haven't seen it since literally the year after it came out. So, I mean, there's some pretty good points, but I just thought it was fun for what it was. It's just like it's just Blade Runner with The Exorcist. But yeah, I mean, he was trying to find something to do after the Matrix movies, and then obviously he was like 10 years out from John Wick, but goddamn, I mean, it's not like you really fucking hated it.
I just thought it was so stupid. There were so many moments where I just like had to like bow my head and be like, "What am I watching?"
I mean, yeah, he is pretty edgelord in it, but
Balthazar.
Oh man, you're totally right. Because the minute you said it, I was like, I know exactly the scene he's talking about.
And like every time he did it, I was like, "Why do you fucking hate each other? What did he do?"
Yeah.
I also love.
I mean, Balthazar is also. I'm sorry.
No, please, no.
Balthazar is actually like really irrelevant to the plot, though. Like, he's just there. So, I mean,
no, you're absolutely right. And I also find it funny that honestly, the plot at the end I found the most interesting and compelling, and yet it feels so unattached. Like the whole thing between like him and Satan and then Gabriel.
Yeah.
I actually thought was a more interesting, I don't know, sort of wrap up. But I'm like, man, I kind of wish we would have seen some of that beforehand, like more of that lead up to this is what we were building up to. Because like even though I know that the end with those two is not necessarily like action packed, but it's like dark and kind of I don't know, like melancholy, like it's very moody shit, and I'm like, okay, like this is a cool way to do this, almost like whenever Keanu did The Devil's Advocate.
Oh yeah.
Which is like not a perfect movie, but it's like, oh, you feel kind of creeped out and gross and, you know, whatever. I'm like, that I can get down with. But I think you guys are right, there's a lot of blending of too many other storylines and like other movie elements that didn't like fit together. It was like you were watching 3 different movies crammed together.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
Next movie, Revenge of the Sith. All right, this movie's fucking stupid.
Well, you did my job for me.
And I don't like Star Wars.
Revenge of the Sith is definitely the strongest of the prequel trilogy, but that's like saying it's the least foul-smelling dog turd.
Yeah.
It's okay, but it still suffers from like all the other problems of the previous 2 movies. But I mean, nothing can be as bad as Attack of the Clones, though. Jesus fucking Christ. What do you guys got to say about Revenge of the Sith?
Go ahead, Ashley.
I mean, here's the thing. I'm not really a Star Wars person, #woman. But I did once pretend to like them for a boy, so I'm going to give it a B-.
I mean, I did the same thing. I understand.
Oh, was it Blake?
Bitch,
No, because I don't like Star Wars either. So.
Oh, Blake, we might be friends. Look at that.
I have to be like the only like '90s kid who grew up and looked back and was like, yeah, I mean, I liked them okay when I first saw them as a kid, but they really weren't that that's special to me. I just think they're more. I just really think they're more dated than people are willing to admit.
Yes.
So, but Revenge of the Sith. I mean, it was too political, and I mean, you had all that stuff about the war and the Senate and stuff. It's like, I mean, George Lucas, like, I don't want to go to your stuff for you to be Michael Moore. Like, I'm not into this, and I don't know. And it's just it is everything that like is the problem with prequels, which is like there's no suspense because the whole fight between the Emperor and Yoda would be cool, but it's also like, oh wow, I already know neither of them die. So
true.
It's just I thought Hayden Christensen, like, I don't know. I never even had that much of a strong opinion on him until I heard everybody else roast him, and then it just became this bandwagon for people to pile on. But
Hayden Christensen is okay in any scene where he's not acting off of Natalie Portman.
Yeah. And like Natalie Portman is a great actor. And
now,
she's just.
But in those movies, she was not.
Well, she was before. Yeah, just not. Well, that's what I'm saying. Not in those movies. And I don't know what happened. Like when you watch like her and other stuff, she's great. But then,
well, here's my opinion. She was incredibly young, though I think she'd acted before then, like in bigger roles. My opinion is, and I could be wrong, my opinion is it could be just terrible writing. You can be a great actor, and sometimes the writing is just so clunky, and they're telling you to stick to it, that no matter how much emotion or whatever you pour into it, it just does not fit.
Exactly.
No, and that's actually exactly what keeps happening to Aaron Eckhart. Like Aaron Eckhart is a terrific actor, but he's like in like I, Frankenstein. And I remember it's just like Underworld but with gargoyles or whatever, and I'm watching it and I'm like, did Aaron Eckhart, like, why are you in this? Like, was your uncle or was your nephew the director? Like, did you owe somebody money? Like, I don't.
Well, actually, you know what? I strongly suspect the "do you need money" is like a thing for a lot of people. I mean, you look at Johnny Depp's spending habits, and then like poor Kevin Bacon has to be in every movie for the rest of his life because Bernie Madoff lost all his money.
Yeah.
I was like, Tremor 7, and it's like, Kevin Bacon is back.
Oh man, the recession has hit us all.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you brought up the impact that good or bad writing can have on a movie, because I feel that is the biggest problem with the prequel trilogy, because everybody's always like, oh, George Lucas shouldn't direct. He's a terrible director. No, George Lucas is a great director. George Lucas is a terrible fucking writer, especially with dialogue. He cannot write dialogue to save his life. And that is a weakness that he himself has admitted to.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that goes for all the like visual effects and like technical wizards, because like James Cameron's dialogue isn't good either.
Yeah.
Especially in Avatar.
Oh my God,
but
yeah.
I still have not watched it. I refuse.
It's
the greatest C+ ever made.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It started out as being overhyped, and people were like already fans of it, even though they didn't see it yet. It wasn't based on anything.
Yeah.
But then it like entered this weird phase where it's like years later, it's like, all right, guys, like you don't have to keep hating on it. You could just say it was whatever. So yeah. No.
And then we keep being told that like 3 more sequels are going to come out, and we're just like, nobody fucking cares anymore.
Yeah, they're going to make 5, so 4 more sequels. And they're like, oh yeah, it's like the new Godfather trilogy. And I'm like, there aren't 5 movies in a trilogy. What are you even talking about?
Well, next movie, Batman Begins.
Ooh.
Now, Blake and I have had a lot of discussions about Batman Begins.
Can I say that I like it? I'm sorry, I like it. Is that a bad thing? I like it.
I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's an alright movie. It's definitely the weakest of the Dark Knight trilogy, hands down.
100%. 100%.
But I straight up think not only is it the weakest of the Dark Knight trilogy, it is almost entirely skippable.
Yes. That is fair. Yeah, I totally agree, because that's the one with Katie Holmes in it, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh God, she is like a fart in a room. Like I find her so unappealing. Like I'm sure she's a very nice person, but how can I trust someone that married Tom Cruise? Like that makes no sense. And like there's nothing about her that I watch in the movie that I'm like, yeah, I could see. You know what? I'm gonna be a huge dick right now. I do not understand the casting choices for any of the women that have a thing for Bruce Wayne in that series. They are the most average looking women on the planet. And you would think, oh, Ashley, doesn't that give you hope? I'm like, no, it doesn't. Like, that just tells me that these women were not, oh my God, how, I'm so worked up over this. Like, how I can't even, like, bruh, my high blood pressure is fat minute right over here. Like, I cannot figure out how that made sense as a choice, because what that tells me is I'm smart enough to get his attention, but how the fuck are you still not, like, married to him? Like, he won't give you a ring, bitch. He is stringing you along. Figure it out. Those poor ugly girls. Like, I just, oh man, sorry, that one really took a lot out of me. It's upsetting. I'm gonna go to bed tonight and be like, oh man, they are both just the worst. Yeah, That's my feeling.
Yeah, I love Batman Begins. At the time, it was. I'm just trying to stay on point. You had such high hopes for this episode, Donnie. It's just I'm becoming the awkward bubble. But anyway,
Bob was listening.
Bob was listening. I mean, at the time, it was the best Batman movie yet.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I've never understood your almost dismissal of it. I mean, it's honestly like what we're getting at is its greatest sin was that it was outdone, which that's a good thing. That's what you want to happen.
I mean, definitely. But I just remember even in 2005, before The Dark Knight came out, before this movie had been surpassed, I remember watching this movie and even then thinking, meh, having no desire to watch it ever again. Like, I feel like the only parts that are really important is like the very beginning when he's being trained by the League of Shadows.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I've told you before, like, I don't know what it is. I wish I could articulate it and, put it into proper words, but I don't know why, and I don't know what it is that makes me feel this way. But that scene, like the first time he's in the suit and he beats up all those thugs and everything, he's just like, I'm Batman. It does nothing for me. It doesn't give me that feeling that I feel like a scene like that should give.
I have two specific memories about the marketing of this movie, and that just proved Christopher Nolan wasn't anywhere near being completely in control at the time, because it did not match him at all or the movie. I remember an honest-to-God TV spot they were playing that summer it was showing clips of the movie, but it was playing the Nickelback song "Someday Somehow" or whatever the title of that song is. So
I'm gonna make it a rap now, right now.
And I'm so glad I wasn't aware of that TV spot until after I already saw the movie, because that would have probably fucking turned me off from it. And then I remember, fast forward years later, it's premiering on ABC Family, and it's using the Nickelback song again for it. And it's like, and this is like in 2000. Well, it was probably 2011, 2012, in order for like the networks to like get ready for The Dark Knight Rises to come out. And it's playing the Nickelback song, and then you hear the ABC Family original movie narrator voice, and he just randomly goes in the middle of the commercial, he fights for family, and it's like, what?
Oh man.
He fights for, but that's why he's, and then I just turned it off. So, but I mean, one thing that I never liked about it is that it totally teases you with the Scarecrow, because ultimately he does not fucking matter in this movie.
Yeah, and I think that's a big reason why like I've always been so dismissive of this movie, because he doesn't fucking matter, but he is like 90% of the movie.
Yeah.
And then just suddenly the last actor, like, hey, Liam Neeson's actually alive. Get fucked, loser.
That had to be coming, because honestly, you know, before that reveal, I'm like, wait a second, it doesn't make any sense that like the Scarecrow obviously isn't the main villain here, but then why would Ra's al Ghul die in the first like 20-30 minutes? Like who's the main villain of the movie then? But then it was like, and it's like, no, it's like I'm the real brains in charge. I'm like the Andy Richter to Conan O'Brien.
Hey now, hey. Let's be honest. The real brains is the masturbating bear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From the creators of Batman the Animated Series.
Saturday mornings on Kids WB.
I'm not gonna lie, that's still one of my favorite bits of all time. Just a dude in a bear costume just touching his junk.
Well, speaking of masturbation, let's move on to the next movie, 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yeah! Yeah, you got that.
Dude, I fucking love this movie. Like, it's such a... I guess dry is the proper word.
What the fuck?
It's just a very dry sense of humor, very, like, subdued sense of humor throughout this whole movie. Like, I just...
I don't think dry is the word. They literally have an entire segment called "You Know How I Know You're Gay." Like...
Right, but what I mean is it's not like Sausage Party or that fucking
American Pie.
Yeah, it's not like
yeah.
It's not like overly raunchy. It's not overly in your face about it, you know. Like I love that scene. Like one of my favorite scenes to quote is in the beginning when they're playing poker, and it's just like they're trying to get Andy to like tell sex stories, and he's just like trying to wiggle out of it. He's just like, you know how when you grab a breast and it feels like a bag of sand. They're all just like, what? Bag of sand.
That gets me every time.
Yeah. Like,
how
did you know she was a man? Because she had an Adam's apple the size of her balls. And her hands were as large as Andre the Giant's.
So funny. Well, and you're right. It is so quotable. Like the lines are like so well written.
You look like a man-o'-lantern.
But yeah, like the writing is so solid, and everybody gives this like phenomenal performance, and everybody is funny in it.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is for me, I actually was I didn't watch it when it first came out. I was actually pretty young, and I wasn't like allowed to go into the theater and watch it. But when it came out, you know, when I got the chance to watch it years later, kind of more as an adult, and I in my friend group, I was actually at that time one of the few people who was still a virgin. Now, we were in our early 20s, but there was something very relatable and almost made, even though it's fiction, there was something kind of comforting that like he was this sweet, normal human being, but just like the right things hadn't happened to him yet, and you wonder, again, at 20 versus 40, but you have like that fear at that age where you're like, oh man, like what if I never lose it? What if someone doesn't want me? Mm-hmm. And it's kind of amazing as a piece of art to be like, what if your fear came true?
Yeah.
And you did live to be like 40 years old, and you're like, I've never had a dick in me. Well, that was just me, but you know what I mean. It's a great movie, and it's something rewatchable. I can rewatch it. Mm-hmm. Any year and be like, this is still a solid film.
Yeah.
I don't want your big box of porn, Andy. Is this your roofie? Is this your date rape drug? No, it's a Mentos.
Boner jams.
It's the fresh maker.
The best side character in the whole thing was his one coworker who was Middle Eastern, and he just goes, "Why wasn't I invited to the party? What am I, Al Qaeda?"
Hey, Andy, don't listen to those guys. Life's not all about sex. It's about love and passion. Like, how old are you? Like 25? Oh, no, I'm 40. Holy shit, man. You need to get on that.
Poor man.
The line that I always find myself quoting for some reason was just back to the part where they're doing the "You Know How I Know You're Gay" contest, which that topic in general, I guess you can't do that joke today. That scene aged poorly in a way. I don't know, but it's just finally the best one was by Seth Rogen. You like Coldplay?
I like the one like, you know how I know you're gay? How you have a what was it? You like dick in your mouth, or like you have a bumper sticker on your car that says "I love dick in your mouth." It's like, that's gay.
Yeah. And that was the same scene where he's like, "Wait, she's coming over here? Yeah, what's wrong with that? You have more video games than an Asian teenager."
Dude, is that seriously a framed Asia poster? Like, did the frame store laugh at you when you brought that?
You want me to dress like Iron Man?
You want me to dress up like Thor? I'll dress up like Thor. Einstein had a wife who he fucked, by the way.
That's right.
Is this your roofie, Andy? Is this your pill? No, it's a Mentos. They're the fresh
Oh
maker.
my God. Oh, I forgot about that. Is this your roofie? That's.
And it is still probably the best film by Judd Apatow, because he then made Knocked Up, and Knocked Up is funny, but
It's a good movie.
I still think The 4-Year-Old Virgin edges it out, and I'm really angry at myself for using that terminology now. But anyway, but then he made Funny People with Adam Sandler, which should have just been called People. Even though I kind of get that it was doing like the ironic bait and switch maybe. And then he made Trainwreck with Amy Schumer, which
I like Trainwreck.
It's the only thing I can say about it though is that it was easily like a half hour too long. Like it got to a certain point where I'm like, it's still not wrapping up though. Like I had nothing against the movie itself, but it was like, I don't know, I just felt it was a little too long.
Well, you know what's interesting? This is not a Judd Apatow movie, but I don't know if 40-Year-Old Virgin was where this duo met, but I think it would have been a few to even several years later. Seth Rogen and Elizabeth Banks did a movie with
Zack and Miri.
Yeah. Yes. And guys, why am I blanking on the director? It's Silent Bob.
Kevin Smith.
Thank you, Kevin Smith. I have to be honest, not to get you off track, but I fucking love them in that movie. But I first saw them and just for a couple minutes in 40-Year-Old Virgin when he finds her in the tub. And for some reason, even that couple of minutes, like that scene was so funny that I was just like, oh my God, they're back together again for this whole other movie. And it felt like the same tone of 40-Year-Old Virgin. And it's interesting because I do wonder how many other stories since then have been influenced by that movie in some way.
Yeah.
Well, I think a similar one was when in Knocked Up, Paul Rudd's character briefly meets Jason Segel's character, and like they kind of have this exchange with each other where it's like, well, those two would be funny together, and then they make I Love You Man, which that's one of my favorites.
Oh, such a good movie.
Yeah. So no, it's kind of cool how you see like the seeds of a future duo being planted.
It is wild, these relationships that get formed in these kind of generation and genre defining movies that then go, years later, even as we're older now, you think how many years it's been since that came out, and yet it still had like a very meaningful impact on what we find funny in the other movies we enjoy.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Are you fucking retarded? Do you want me to be fucking retarded?
And then that was one of the first parts of Jonah Hill. He wanted to buy those shoes.
Yeah.
In the eBay store.
Yeah. Well, you gotta go on eBay. Well, why can't I just like give you money and just leave with them?
I really wish I could figure out a better way to explain this. I really wish you could just sell me these fucking shoes that I'm asking you for.
Oh, man.
Oh, next movie. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
What the fuck was that interaction? Next movie. Ugh.
I don't know. I'm tired, okay?
Okay, all right.
Did you put her name in the Goblet of Fire? God, this fucking movie.
That got me good.
It's what he does.
I know. It got me just right. I don't know why.
Oh, man. This is easily the worst fucking Harry Potter movie. Like, The pacing is all over the place. I think Blake put it best before. He said that this movie feels like a filler episode. And it totally does. Like, it's all over the place. There's
really?
Like there's moments where you could just feel like there's shit missing here and there throughout the movie, and especially if you compare it to the book. I mean, The Goblet of Fire is one of the best books in the series, but it is definitely the worst movie.
I don't know.
No.
I don't think I've ever referred to it as the worst movie.
No, but like I'm saying, I was just quoting what you said about how you said it felt like a filler movie.
Well, no, I understand that, but I still stand by that because honestly, the only part of it that matters is the final act when Voldemort comes back to life and he fights him and he has to like copy Ghostbusters and be like, oh, I'll cross the streams, but this was the only one that I didn't see in theaters, and I don't even know why I missed it. I can't remember why. I think it would have come out around Thanksgiving, right? Or do you even remember, Donnie? Or
I don't remember.
No, I remember it was playing at the IMAX theater at the Space Museum that we went to, and we kept floating around the idea of catching it. But then my mom started her, now which ones do I have to see to know what's going on? And we were like, okay, never mind, we're not doing it. But and I finally saw it. Oh, man, I think the first time I saw it was right before I saw the final one in theaters. Like, I had waited that long to see it. And then when I finally saw it, I'm like, oh, wow, I was fine skipping it all along after all, like I found out. But, yeah, it's still, I don't dislike it, but this was definitely when it started to feel like these movies were becoming less and less fun.
Yeah. And it was definitely when they started making the movies, like, more and more catering to people who already read the books, like eventually getting to the point where if you didn't read the books, then you were just going to be fucking lost and tough shit.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's interesting? So I have to be the dissenter here. I do not agree that it's the worst. I think Order of the Phoenix is an absolute turd.
Yeah, Order of the Phoenix is definitely Order of the Phoenix is definitely the worst movie.
Oh, uh-oh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But I think Goblet of Fire is like, just it's like right above it.
Well, look, I like it because Robert Pattinson dies. Just saying.
We were still in that phase.
Yeah.
But no, that was before he was Edward Cullen. So
yeah.
That was before people had beef with him.
Yeah, I mean, and to be fair, as much as like I'm joking, he's actually not a terrible actor. Like, he's actually not bad.
No, he's really good now, I think. But I mean, all he had to do was just talk about fucking a steak and beating a seagull to death in black and white. But
fuck, I'm dead.
Don't you like me, lobster?
I wonder if it ever hurts Willem Dafoe's feelings that we all just honestly assume that he's like that in real life.
I've been seeing all these pictures. I don't fully understand them yet, but I don't know if you guys can explain the pictures of him all over the internet looking crazy. Now.
That's just really the plot of the movie. Or wait, are you talking about?
No, right now.
Him in general.
It's him in like a tracksuit. I don't know. It's like if like these are pictures they caught of him walking down the street and he looks insane, or if he's getting ready for like a role and these are like random candidates that have come out and people have been sharing them, which is hilarious because they did the same thing to Daniel Radcliffe in a role he did when he had the guns and he's like in a robe.
The bear slippers.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's something, we act like Disney destroys people, but I'm pretty sure that it's the J.K. Rowling books. I'm pretty sure there's something about her pieces of work that makes these people fucking insane. So
I haven't seen the pictures that you're talking about. I'll have to look those up. But I just think that that's just Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
He's a wonderful actor, and I'm sure he's a great guy, but like, he's perhaps the ugliest man I have ever seen.
Well, no, see, this is Dissension Night. He's an ugly dude, but is he uglier than Gary Busey?
Ooh. You know.
Fuck, Mary, kill.
Yeah, when it comes. Like. Gary Busey's an ugly motherfucker, but I need to get the number of his dentist because my bathroom needs tiled.
I think the best thing ever said about Gary Busey was when he was on The Apprentice for, I guess, the season of 2011, and Meatloaf was getting in a fight with Donald Trump, and they were going to, he was ready to hit him or something, and then Gary Busey had to calm him down, and it was just the people being like, that's when you know that your show is an absolute mess, when Gary Busey is the voice of reason. Yeah. That's when there's something wrong.
Oh, absolutely. Well, my favorite thing, the last thing I'll use to get us off topic, my favorite thing was when there was the roast. I forget who it was of, but Greg Giraldo said that Gary Busey looks like Nick Nolte fucked a Clydesdale.
Oh my God, I forgot about that joke.
Yeah. It is still the funniest thing I've ever heard. Sometimes when I'm in a deep depression, I'm like, that still makes me laugh.
No, yeah, I could see that. No, Gary Busey is totally Nick Nolte's Wario.
Shit. God, that's good.
Oh man.
What movie were we talking about?
Goblet of Fire.
Oh, okay, that's right.
How did we went from Goblet of Fire to Gary Busey? That's a wild rabbit hole.
Now I'm disappointed that Willem Dafoe wasn't in any of the Harry Potter movies. I don't know. He would have been pretty good, I think.
Who would you have casted him as?
Oh, man. Shit. He'd be really good as that fat rat dude, but I don't know. He might be wasted there.
Unfortunately, J.K. Rowling had a very strict British-only rule for the casting.
Oh, for real?
Oh, yeah. So much so that Robin Williams really wanted to fucking play Hagrid, and he contacted Chris Columbus before the first movie started and was like, I want to play Hagrid hardcore, because they worked together on Mrs. Doubtfire. And Chris Columbus was all for it, but J.K. Rowling was like, no, British only.
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah.
No, she probably did want him as Hagrid because she already interviewed the actor for Hagrid. Was like, no, you're transphobic, right?
Right.
I was just about to say she won't hire Americans, and we definitely know she doesn't like the transgendered people. So. Oh, man.
Oh, man. Finding out J.K. Rowling was transphobic definitely was not on my 2020 bingo card.
I got some bad news because she was hinting at it even a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But, when in doubt, you just double down on something. And then if that doesn't work, you just triple down on it. And then if that doesn't work, you quadruple down on it.
Oh, man. Well, look, at this point, we're pretty sure she's telling the Slytherin stand by and stand back.
Oh, my God.
Breaking out that partial tone.
Man.
Did you guys? I know Blake doesn't see it because he's not my friend, I don't think, yet on Facebook. But Donnie, did you see last night I photoshopped Trump's face onto that children's book, The Pokey Little Puppy, and I called it. You have to go look at it. I put his face on the dog and I rebranded it as the Pokey Putin Puppy, and it made me laugh so hard. Thank you.
I'm gonna go look right now.
It made me laugh.
Oh my God, that's great.
I made myself laugh pretty hard. I was like, I may not have a boyfriend, but I've got Photoshop. So,
hey, with Photoshop, you can have a boyfriend.
Oh my God, why the fuck did I not think of that sooner? Oh my God, every guy that rejects me, I'm just going to Photoshop a picture of him with me and be like, are you sure you want to say no?
Modern problems require modern solutions.
Damn right it does.
There you go.
Next movie.
Thanks for that.
You're welcome. That'll be $1.50.
Freedom costs $1.05.
Yep. So lick my butt and suck on my balls, America.
No, he says buns.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It made it 10 times funnier.
Next movie, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Now, this was when, every studio was trying to find the next Harry Potter, where they were, searching through They were searching through every middle school library to find books that kids had forgotten about, and be like, "What can we make money off of?"
Well, I would say it's a combo. I think it's a combo of looking for the next Harry Potter / next Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, that's fair. That's definitely fair. And I mean, it was only like a matter of time before they attempted the Chronicles of Narnia.
Absolutely.
One of the main marketing points behind this version of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe was that they had Weta Workshop behind it. So they were like, we're going to have costume designed by the same people who did Lord of the Rings. And it's like, I mean, that's cool, but that also doesn't, guarantee like the quality of like the overall presentation and performance. But okay.
Which, I mean, the movie did, it did look good, and it was a solid movie.
Oh, I think it's really enjoyable.
Yeah, I mean, as I got older and realized that C.S. Lewis was a racist prick, I definitely enjoyed Narnia less and less. But I mean, it's still a solid movie.
I thought that was H.P. Lovecraft.
I mean, yeah, H.P. Lovecraft is really fucking racist, but like C.S. Lewis is like really anti-Islam.
Oh, well, yeah, he was super Christian.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Are you trying to tell me every motherfucker that lived 100 years ago would be problematic today?
I mean. Actually, yes. I mean, hey, if you really want to get upset, go look up what H.P. Lovecraft named his cat.
I already know.
Yeah, I can't say it on the air.
No, God, I'll look it up later.
You can't put that on a keychain at Walmart.
Oh my God, I'm so excited to look this up.
You say that
you were not.
No.
you were.
Are you sure? Hold on, let me see. HP. Oh, crap! I put HPV. Hold on.
Okay, so I'm just gonna warn you since we're live. Please, for the love of God, don't.
No,
say
I'm
it.
not. No, I'm not going to. Let me just. But I need to be in on the joke. Let me see here.
I don't want to be canceled.
Yeah.
Oh, bruh, I got canceled a long time ago.
I mean, I got banned from the Kaiser Theater for a little bit.
That's that's so funny because I love when I did the theater. They're like, "Oh my God, Ashley, we love you," and then later I was like, "We've asked to not bring you back," and I'm like, "Okay."
It was the same show. We both got canceled at the same time.
That makes sense.
My favorite thing about that entire show was when their reaction, Donnie, to you kind of putting down just the area or whatever, just poking fun at it, was they threatened to kick your ass.
Yeah.
And my reaction to that was, thanks for basically proving his point.
Yeah.
Wow, I just found the name of the cat.
Yeah.
That's bananas. That is a very... Wow, that is a bold person.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, H.P. Lovecraft, super, 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 like, Nazi-level fucking racist. And yet, he is so loved by millennials. I don't get it.
I know. It is bananas.
Well, they don't research enough, so...
Apparently.
But, I mean...
Which you would think, considering our stereotype is that we, cancel everything, they would.
But great revenge on him is we just took his work, and it's apparently a really good HBO show now, and they're made the show about racism, and they have like a mostly black cast and stuff. So that's like one example of making the creator spin in his grave, but in a good way.
Yeah.
So yeah, just like they said Clerks 2, we're taking it back.
Yeah.
I'm taking it back.
Oh,
Can we talk about Narnia
good.
now?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's just one of those movies where there isn't too much to say about it other than how pleasant and enjoyable it is.
Yeah.
But
I mean, Liam Neeson as Aslan is like the perfect casting choice.
Oh, so
That's
peaceful.
Perfect.
Yeah.
But is it even possible to fucking finish this series? Because how many different versions have they tried to do?
Yeah, like I was about to bring it up. Because they did The Lion, the Witch, the Wardrobe, Prince Caspian, and then Voyage of the Dawn Treader, and then they were just like done. And they keep telling us every year, no, we're gonna make the next one. Next movie's coming out. And
the popularity really dropped, and I think the studio was not willing to keep sinking money into it.
Right.
Yeah.
But they keep telling us every year that it's still going to happen. And it's at this point, does anybody believe it?
It switched studios, which ironically, it went from Disney to Fox.
Yeah.
And then...
Gotcha.
Well, I was gonna say, well, like, right, I didn't realize it had switched studios, but I mean, are we really that surprised though? I mean, it's like watching your favorite restaurant go under, but then you still see the name is up, and someone's like, "No, I bought it. We're bringing it back," and it's like, it's not gonna be the same.
Yeah.
And then I forget if you put this on the list for movies, but also them trying to find like the next book series to keep doing. The same year they tried to do the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, with Martin Freeman and Mos Def. Of all people, Mos Def was there.
I remember that movie like coming out and being in theaters simply because when it came out, I'm pretty sure I heard a fart, and that was about it.
It's actually pretty underrated. I thought I liked it a lot, but I mean, I never read the book. I don't know how to read, but it's I have to mention that in every episode. But yeah, I don't know.
Wait, I'm totally drawing a blank. What movie are we talking about now?
The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, I didn't know. I heard the Morgan Freeman and Mos Def thing, and I got confused.
Martin Freeman, the guy who played Bilbo. But yeah, it was back to the point of like how they kept trying to do like the next Harry Potter, the next Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
But yeah, so.
Well, can we just be thankful that they didn't do the Silmarillion? I mean, God, what a bore!
Oof.
There's still enough time for HBO to do it.
Right. Oh my God! If they ever tried to make a movie of that, it would be such a clusterfuck.
Oh man, what is more upsetting, that or the idea that someone turns Infinite Jest into a movie?
Oh. That's
I
like
love
asking,
college.
would you rather take cyanide or arsenic?
Can't we do both? Oh, no.
I mean, hey, you can do anything if you're brave enough, as long as you're willing, as long as you're prepared to suffer the consequences.
Butt chug. Anywho, like,
What the fuck?
Donnie's like, she does this every time.
Next movie, King Kong.
Yeah.
This is the only movie on this list that I did not watch yet. I mean, I'm just not a huge King Kong fan in general.
No.
I mean, if I wanted to see a giant gorilla for 2 hours, I would go to the White House.
Oh, Jesus God.
I was not sure where you were going with that, and my butthole tightened. I got very scared. Yeah, it's not one of mine either. Like, it's just, because to me, like, even though the gorilla is unnaturally large, like he's, posited to us as like a monster, like I like dinosaurs, and I love Jurassic Park. Right. I like the Alien franchises. I like those things, but there's something not terrifying necessarily to me about a giant monkey.
Right.
It just screams of desperation. Like, now again, we know that it's like so iconic. Like, I love that that's the thing that he's like, this is hilarious.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I know that there's like this, I mean, iconic. I mean, they started in the 20s, if not earlier, like at the very beginning of cinema.
Like 32, 33, I think.
Yeah, I mean, like the very original films. And yet, it's so unappealing to me. But I tell a joke about, I know Donnie's heard these before, about how like I like my men weak, and I want to throw them over my shoulder like King Kong and take them up my Empire State Building. And it's kind of funny because like I don't give a shit about King Kong, and yet it's iconic. It's always somewhere in the lexicon.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I definitely feel like I mean, as a kid, I was just always more of a Godzilla fan.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, I'm with you there. He can blow shit up with his breath, just like me.
She can. I've seen it.
Yeah, once I've had like a whole Gordita Grande and then like a big thing of Mountain Dew, I'm just like, keep away from this mouth and this ass. Like, it's wild.
Blake?
What about you, Blake?
Yes. Well, I can't have Taco Bell anymore because the last time I saw blood.
Oh, Jesus. There will be blood.
The Green Mile.
except I didn't have a cool mustache. But I mean, King Kong. I don't even think anybody said anything about this version of the movie. Well, you said you haven't seen it yet, Donnie. My bad. But anyway.
Oh no, I said I hadn't seen it before I made the list. I watched it before I started the show today.
Oh really?
Yeah.
What'd you think of it then?
I mean, it's good. I pretty much got what I expected out of it. It's a King Kong movie made by Peter Jackson.
Yeah.
It's artistic, but it's not pretentious.
I thought it got a little stupid how like at one point in the movie each scene another character had to die, like in like a slasher film almost. It got a little dumb with that, but I mean, probably one of my best memories of this movie was how the trailer for it premiered in front of the Fantastic Four movie with Chris Evans. And I remember it was Zachary Kogel and I, reference to the guest of the third episode. It was third or fourth? It was fourth. Yeah, I think it was fourth. But anyway, we went to see the Fantastic Four movie, and we sat down, and we were sitting in front of this old couple, and they had to narrate everything they were seeing on the screen. Like, it's just, you saw a Coca-Cola commercial. Oh, no, bubbles. So they just keep adding their 2 cents to every little image they see pop up on the screen. And Kogel turns to me in all seriousness. First, Ashley, if you're not aware of this, our friend Kogel, he has this very unhealthy hatred towards the elderly.
He really does.
This has not been shared with me, but good to know.
His least favorite Spider-Man villain is the Vulture because, quote, he's just an old guy.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he turns to me, and in all seriousness, he goes, "Hey, man, can we just move up a few more rows?" And I'm just like, why? He goes, I forgot my glasses. And I'm just like, I've been seeing movies with you all summer and you haven't worn your glasses. What's wrong? And he goes, these old people, they won't shut up. but I go,
why do you make him sound like William Shatner when you quote him?
Yep. And so I'm like, no, dude, like this is the perfect like distance from the screen. I don't want to have to keep turning my neck to see all four corners. But anyway, he goes, all right, it's okay. So I don't want him to think, I love him with all my heart. It's just, but so anyway, the trailers come up, and then it's the teaser trailer for the Peter Jackson King Kong movie, and the whole time you knew it was going to be King Kong. It was just obvious. It was like, I don't know, it's like seeing the Mystery Machine and being like, oh, I wonder if this is a Scooby-Doo movie. But like, so the whole trailer, the whole 90 seconds, 100 seconds, whatever, it was pretty obvious. So finally at the end, before King Kong jumps out and screams, no, he had jumped out and screamed. He jumps out and screams, and as soon as he screams, the old lady behind us goes, oh, King Kong. And the title flashes on the screen, King Kong. But she had already said King Kong like a millisecond before the logo appeared. At that point, I hear the most passive-aggressive sigh I have ever heard in my entire life. I see him go, and that legit ruined the entire fucking night for him.
Oh god, that's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
So long story short, my best memory of King Kong is the Fantastic Four. The end.
Blake, that's a good one. I like that.
Thank you.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Then let's move on to TV, why don't we? First show, American Dad. I'm not a Seth MacFarlane fan at all. I do not.
That surprises me.
I do not like Seth MacFarlane. I hate Family Guy. Nobody fucking watched the Cleveland Show.
No.
But American
Not even
Dad.
Seth MacFarlane.
What?
Not even Seth MacFarlane.
Right? But American Dad, I don't watch it a whole lot, but I can get behind it sometimes. There's some good bits in American Dad.
I like American Dad.
I fucking love Roger. He's definitely my favorite character in that show.
He is funny.
I'm just more of a Simpsons guy personally, but
Hmm.
yeah, I'm just not a Seth MacFarlane guy. But I can fuck with some American Dad here and there.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up with The Simpsons. Like, I think a lot of people did. I think it's definitely kind of a lot of people's first taste of like adult animation, I guess you'd call it.
Mm-hmm.
Not quite like family friendly per se. But I would have been, oh man, I'm trying to think. I would have been in early middle school, I want to say, when Family Guy first premiered. And my two older sisters, so I have older sisters that are 6 and 8 years older than me. And I guess at that time for them, it was like, this is a very cool, edgier. I think honestly, it almost felt edgier, just a little bit more so than The Simpsons. Like it felt like it was trying to push a little harder, and yet it was nowhere near like South Park. You know, with that prime time stuff. I will say I was a fan. Like when I was young. Very much a fan. I was super into it, thought it was hilarious, couldn't get enough of it. You know, I'd fall asleep when Adult Swim would come on at like 10 o'clock at night. I would put it on because I knew, dude, to this day I can tell you the schedule. It would be Family Guy comes on at anywhere from like 9 to 10 because they normally stopped the kid programming at like 9, 10 o'clock. So they'd start with like 2 to 4 episodes of Family Guy, and then they would do Robot Chicken. And then after that, they would do Boondocks. You know, as you could tell, I had a very thriving social life on a Friday night. But I don't know. I was really super into it. I thought it was so funny and well written. But then there came a point, and I know you both can understand the point that I'm talking about, where society is almost so into it. And then it's gone on just too long, or the wrong thing happens, and then we all collectively just get sick of it, and it becomes the joke to hate it. Kind of like Nickelback or anything like that, where at one point they were loved like a lot, and then this moment hits, and it peaks out, and just no one likes you anymore. It is interesting. Yeah.
That also happened to Kevin Costner for a period of time for some reason. Yeah, I don't know why.
I didn't see that coming. I was like,
yeah. So I mean, I bring up the Fantastic Four when King Kong's brought up, and then for some reason, American Dad reminds me of Kevin Costner.
A movie where the Fantastic Four fights King Kong would be pretty fucking dope.
I mean, it would make more money than the Fantastic Four movies.
Right, you are, Ken.
Anyway, I mean,
Yes.
I fucking hate Roger so much. I mean, it's just every episode I'm just like, okay, we get it. You're gay, but like it's so beat to death. But
he is a very self-insisting character.
So, yeah, but no, I think American Dad is funnier than Family Guy. It has I mean, there's a handful of episodes with American Dad. There was the Rapture episode, the Majestic episode, which was when the boyfriend of the daughter is abducted by aliens, and he's taken to like their society, and he has to like prove that love exists and stuff. And at the end, it kind of becomes a rock opera. And then the Krampus episode. Those episodes were so good. I almost wish Seth MacFarlane would have just turned them into their own like standalone movies. I just kind of, I don't know. I just feel like it would have been cooler if they weren't buried within one of his other shows. But
right.
I've laughed. And Trevor actually has showed us a lot of American Dad. Yeah. And because I don't think without Trevor, I probably wouldn't have ever given American Dad a chance, but no, it actually has some. It's funnier than Family Guy, especially now.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. I would agree.
I just love the one time somebody, like some conservative like celebrity or whatever, was saying like, "Have you ever noticed there's no like likable conservative characters in TV?" And you started listing off a bunch, and like one of them you were like Stan from American Dad. I'm like, no, dude, he like beats his family on a regular basis. Like, no. Hank Hill, yes. Man. Stan, no.
Oh God, it's imagine Hank Hill trying to pronounce Beto O'Rourke. Like that's what gets me up in the morning.
Now, why would anyone want to lick a stamp with Bill Clinton on it? Blah.
You actually do a really good Hank Hill.
Loser, you're a loser.
Oh man, that's good.
Next show, a fucking favorite of mine, Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh boy.
Oh, I don't like the sound of that.
I'm already upset.
See, I fucking fell in love with this show from episode 1. I watched it religiously from beginning to end, and like, I still to this day I love this show. And I remember like I love how like it's so obvious when you watch this show. You could tell the creators had a whole story fleshed out in mind. They knew exactly when and how they wanted to end it, and they did it before it overstayed its welcome. And when it did end, I was like, I knew it was going to end, but damn it, I want more. And then M. Night Shyamalan gave us that fucking movie. Oh my God, worst fucking movie ever made.
Yeah, he's done some real turds.
Yeah. I mean, have you ever seen the Last Airbender movie, Ashley?
I attempted it. I got 10 minutes in, and then I decided to watch Big Mama's House.
I think that's fair.
Like, here's the thing. With The Last Airbender, the show, I had tried to get Blake for years to watch this show. And for whatever reason, we just never got around to it. Like, I had the box sets on DVD, and I would always bring the box set over, and for whatever reason, we would never get around to watching it until one day I was finally like, we need to sit down and watch this shit. And we finally sat down and watched it, and I could see Blake having the same reaction that I had when I watched it for the first time, just like falling in love with this show and this world and the story it had to present.
Yeah.
And I showed Blake the Last Airbender movie, and Blake and I have seen some fucking hot dog shit movies before.
Yeah. Amen.
And this is one of the things that Blake and I's friendship has, like, one of the things that caused our friendship and our bonding to, commence is, like, our discussion, our agreements, and our disagreements over different movies. This is the only movie I have seen Blake fucking tap out of.
Yeah.
We were, like, midway through, and he, like, just grabs me, and he goes, can we please fucking stop this and just, like, watch the show?
Yeah. Yeah. And keep in mind, I saw virtually everything that came out in 2015 and 2016. Like, even the stuff I knew I was going to dislike, just because I wanted to be able to say I saw everything, and I had a movie blog at the time, and because I was like mid-20s white boy, but I sat through Hitman Agent 47.
Oof.
And yeah, and I saw the Last Airbender show, and I loved it. I fell in love with it. I thought it was funny. And I just love how it ends. I love how they didn't try to keep it going and stuff. It was like, no, it was a trilogy of seasons. Mm-hmm. They told the story they wanted to tell. It's over. Let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Just let it end. But then I was like, man, the M. Night Shyamalan movie can't be that bad, right? I mean, he needs signs. And I was like, I couldn't do it. It was, I mean, Roger Ebert said it best. It was every form of bad we already knew existed, and some yet undiscovered. But
that's brutal.
Because we were gonna like watch season 1, the movie, and then season 2, and I was like, can we just watch season 2? Can we just get started on that? It was legit upsetting my stomach. Like I was like, Donnie, you need to just boot up season 2, and I'm gonna take a shit real quick. But I don't know.
Oh my God! Here's how sad my fucking life was. When The Last Airbender came out in theaters, I saw that fucking movie in theaters opening night in 3D by myself.
Oh my God!
Needless to say, I was not going on many dates back in 2010.
Donnie, you could have seen Inception.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I like to imagine we were in the next theater watching the Prince of Persia movie, because that just wasn't much better. But
Oh man.
The Prince of Persia, starring Jake Gyllenhaal. Really?
Ah man.
Jake Gyllenhaal. He's the Prince of Persia, just like
You
Tom
know-
Cruise is the last samurai.
Oh man, I gotta tell ya. Look, I know I shit on Maggie Gyllenhaal for being ugly, but if it comes down, between her being ugly and her brother being a good actor, that is a hard, painful choice. Like,
Oh, no.
that is. Oh man,
Come on, I
that's.
fucking love Jake Gyllenhaal and Spider-Man: Far From Home. Fucking
Oh,
No,
he's
Jake
okay.
Gyllenhaal's Mysterio was fucking amazing. Fucking Jake Gyllenhaal's Mysterio, Spider-Man: Far From Home, more like Spider-Man: Daddy's Home.
Oh.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I will
I mean,
die.
Jake Gyllenhaal in Prisoners was.
Oh,
Yeah.
I will give you that. He
Yeah.
was phenomenal in Prisoners. You are correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just afraid that he is like one movie choice away from being Joaquin Phoenix. I just worry for him. Like, I just don't think that oh man, you just got to keep that shit together. I think he is one choice away from losing it all, is all I'm saying.
I'm having trouble keeping track of this one. Is Donnie Darko a bad movie or not? Because I don't understand what people's verdict is.
It's a weird movie.
It's an art movie, I feel like.
Yeah, it's got a lot to unpack.
Okay.
I would suggest watching it.
No, I mean, I've seen it. But
Okay.
But my thing was, I remembered being like, okay, that was actually different. But then, like, I feel like the internet has been flip-flopping on whether or not it's good or bad. I don't know.
Oh.
That was just kind of the impression I was getting.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, the internet is the internet. I mean, I am obsessed with the movie Cool Runnings, and there are plenty of people that'll be like, that's not good cinema. And I'm like, go fuck yourself, Taylor. Like, it's
Taylor.
a great Taylor. It is a great movie about 5 Jamaican bobsledders facing all odds in Canada. It's a great movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah, I
so
had to get that off my chest.
Ashley, why don't you go ahead and tell Blake and I why we're stupid for liking The Last Airbender?
Oh, okay. So, no, because I mean, I was gonna prove my point, but then you did it for me. So,
yeah?
I was like, oh, I used to go on a lot of dates, so that's probably the reason. No. Here's the thing. I actually did watch the show a little bit when it first came out. I don't hate it. I thought there were parts of it that were really good, but I just don't think it's my the genre, like my art. Like, I don't think it's that style maybe necessarily speaks to me, and that would make sense because I was never really like a Dragon Ball Z person, and I was never into Pokemon, and just by that I mean the style of animation, maybe the types of stories they were telling. It wasn't something I consistently was like keeping up with. I definitely have respect for it. I know lots of people were super attached to it, but truly just the fact that M. Night Shyamalan felt that he was the chosen one to make it into like a movie made me so, I don't know, I can't even describe properly how disappointed I was for a series I didn't even watch. It's like knowing a guy is garbage and you're never going to date him, but then you hear someone you like is going to date him, and you're like, oh no, like I wish I was friends with you and could save you, but alas, I cannot. So yeah, that's where I stand.
I just love when Blake and I watch that movie and you see Appa. Live action Appa for the first time. He floats up and Blake just like pauses. It just turns to me. Oh, I don't like that.
That's good.
Next show, Doctor Who. Or at the very least, the revival, the revival. Yeah, the current incarnation of Doctor Who as we currently know it started this year. Not a big Doctor Fu.
Dr. Fu. That's awesome.
Doctor Fu. I'm not a big Doctor Who fan. But I remember like it started out like really small at first, like the fan base for the show. Like it started out really small, and then like it gradually got bigger and bigger and bigger, and then like for a while it was a pretty big fan base. Like you could go like anywhere and see Doctor Who something, and then now it started to die down a little bit, probably because they turned the Doctor into a woman, and a lot of people got upset about that because people are dumb. I've considered trying to get into the series, but like there is just so much fucking history with this show that it's honestly kind of intimidating. Like this show started in what, like the early 60s?
Yeah. And then I think a lot of the earlier episodes don't even exist anymore because they were burned in a fire. But it became like a really big bandwagon thing.
Yeah.
I just woke up one day and all of a sudden, like, everyone, or, well, at least a bunch of people were into it. And I was like, I don't know, I didn't get the memo on that. But
it also started like this weird trend for a while in like the early 2010s where everybody like tried to pretentiously act like they were British.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you guys remember that shit?
Oh,
yeah.
Oh my god, it was so fucking annoying.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, that got me so good.
We all went to school with that one kid who walked around the hallways with a cape on and gave the principal middle fingers all the time, right?
Yeah.
Yep, sure did. But I don't know. But fuck, I have nothing to add. It's just I've never watched a single episode.
Yeah, it wasn't really my thing. Like I've got friends that are hopelessly like devoted to that show. Like they've got the bumper stickers, they've got the tattoo on their ass. Like I remember the first time one of them tried to make a joke using the word TARDIS, and I was no. And I was like, is that like slang for like the R word? Like I don't understand what that is. Like I just don't know how to play the game. I just don't get it. It's like, look, I know you're a virgin, but is this really how you want to tell me? Like oh man, not my thing. Not at all.
Because the like main weapon of the Doctor is like called the sonic screwdriver, and I remember the first time I remember the first time somebody used that word in a sentence with me, I legit was like, is that like some kind of fucking vibrator or something? Like
that's so good.
This is too hokey. It's too hokey.
Yeah.
But
next show.
I mean,
man.
Oh, go ahead.
I remember. Do you remember when Trevor paid to see the movie in theaters, like, but then it was on BBC literally the next night?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, remember when Trevor paid money to watch Dragon Ball Evolution? He paid money to own the DVD. Didn't he?
Oh, I love that boy. Yes, he owns the DVD.
That boy, right?
That's upsetting.
Next show, Grey's Anatomy. I'm gonna tuck this show under. I'm gonna file this show under. Why the fuck is this show still on TV?
I don't understand.
My mother was obsessed with this fucking show, which I thought was kind of funny considering she's a nurse. I was always like, don't you deal with this shit enough during the day? Like, but yeah. My mother was obsessed with this show, and I remember catching episodes here and there as she would watch them. And like the first couple seasons were pretty decent, and then eventually it got to a point to where the show was just so over the top. The plot threads were like almost impossible to keep up with. I mean, if you are an actor on the show, you better hope that you don't like just never ask for better storylines because you will get killed off. And like Amber watches the show on Netflix.
Oh, Amber.
She'll bring up like she mainly watches it for background noise, and she'll bring up like a recent episode, and I'll be like, how do people even like actually follow this fucking show anymore? I don't understand why it's still on, personally.
I don't either. I personally, it is really hard to have, I'm a woman and I have like all these girlfriends, and I'll be like, can I talk to you guys about like this, I'm having an issue with my boyfriend. And I swear to God, at least one of these bitches in the circle will be like, oh my God, this is just like that time so-and-so and so-and-so on Grey Anatomy are having that problem. And I'm like, you know they're not real, right? Like, they were written to have that problem and then resolve that problem. It's fiction. Can we deal with the fact that he's cheating on me? They're like, yeah, but in the show, he was cheating too. And I'm like, I will slit your fat fucking throat. Like, what are we doing here? And then it just keeps, like, unraveling. It's like, blah, 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 blah. And like, you know what? I think I'm good. Like, I'll just ask the guys that watch Jackass. Like, I hate Grey's Anatomy. I think Shonda Rhimes, who created the show, let me say, she is a phenomenal human being. I've read her books. She's deep. She's interesting. She's funny. But I fucking hate medical dramas. I hate it. Look, they are so unrealistic. Have you ever actually tried sleeping with your doctor? It does not go well. It is unrealistic expectations. I have never been able to pick up my gyno's number after he's had a speculum inside me and be like, oh my God, like, what are the coincidences, like, that you're here? Like, it's not real. All right, I'm done. It's just, I hate it.
I'm going to bed.
Hate that shit.
Blake, what do you got to say about Grey's Anatomy?
Have I ever given you the impression that I've seen 5 minutes of this show?
All right, let's move on. There's an episode of South Park that has a joke about Grey's Anatomy that I love, where Kenny is like in this really like fucking boring relationship with this girl, and she's making them wear like purity rings and shit. And there's a joke about how every night they watch Grey's Anatomy on Netflix, and he fucking hates it.
I do remember that. Oh, sorry. I'm getting old.
Me too.
All right, Grey's Anatomy or Ugly Betty?
Oh.
I never watched much Ugly Betty, so I can't really say.
Okay.
I watched Ugly Betty when it first came out and liked it, and then after season 1, I kept hoping that I was gonna fall off a bridge if I had to keep watching the show. So.
Oh, wow, it's really contagious tonight.
Sorry.
Adrian!
Next show that I also don't understand why it's still on, Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, shit.
I can't believe this show started in 2005. For some reason, I felt like this show started like way later.
Yeah, me too.
But I don't understand why this show is still on. Like, at first I kind of got it because for a little bit they had pretty relevant big name celebrities on there. And then by the time they hit like season 5 or whatever, like I remember like by the time they hit season 5 or so, I was like, who the fuck are these people?
For me, it's like when there came a season when one of the few people who were willing to pick up was Sarah Palin's daughter.
Yeah.
That was when I was like, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Oh man, good old Sarah Palin's daughter. I wonder how she is out in the world. Oh man, real quick sidebar, do you remember when we thought that was the worst thing that ever happened to politics?
Oh, what a simpler time.
I mean, there's still time.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well then, I'll go ahead and move on to the next show. Chris Angel Mind Freak. This show was so fucking silly. Like, at first, I remember watching the show a lot when it was on, and at first I thought it was pretty cool when he would do, like, random, like, tricks out in the streets and stuff and just, like, just mess with people and stuff. But then he started doing stuff that wasn't even magic tricks anymore. Like,
yeah.
There's one bit that I fucking laugh myself to death every time I think of it, still to this day. There's an episode where he's got like this helicopter floating over like this canyon, and there's like a cage dangling from the helicopter, and there's a ramp, and he's like, I'm going to drive this car off the ramp and end up inside the cage before the car crashes into the canyon. And when you watch it on TV, he, drives the car, and they got a camera, pointed at the ramp, and he drives the car up the ramp, and they put like a shitty After Effects like fiery explosion effect over the screen as to hide the jump cut of him getting into the cage. It is so fucking silly and stupid. Another good one is like there's like a similar stunt involving a car going over a canyon or whatever, and like for some reason Kurt Angle is in the episode. And I remember the stunt goes wrong, and like the car just goes into the canyon, and everybody's like, "Oh my god, he's dead!" And Kurt Angle's like drawing a heart in the sand with Chris Angel's initials, and he's just like crying, and the episode just ends.
It was amazing, because you're absolutely right. It was amazing the spiral that these types of shows, I think specifically starting with his, where they just descended into this madness of like, wait, is this magic or is this a snuff film? Like, I'm really confused.
Yeah. Blake, you got anything to say?
I apologize, but no. I yield.
Okay.
I yield the floor.
I yield the floor. I've never seen a single episode, so. Is it him? No, I guess it's David Blaine. David Blaine, he's not really a magician, he's just really good at waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like he's always doing the hold his breath or how long he could do this, how long he could do that, but I'm just like, well, that's not really magic. That's just being very patient.
Right.
But
I mean, that is kind of an amazing skill most men don't seem to have. But
shots fired.
She's right. She's right.
Yeah.
Be real.
Yeah.
Ashley, it sounds like your mic's a little too close. Like you sound like really.
Oh.
There we go. That's better.
Oh, my bad. It was probably sliding down my face because it's kind of starting to fall into my boob.
Oh, that's fair.
So, yeah.
That happens to me all the time.
I told the boys before we started the show in the group chat, Donnie's like, my pants are off, I'm ready to do the show. And I'm like, hey, if Donnie's allowed to have his balls out, I'm allowed to let my chesticles hang low. Ain't got no bra on. Yeah.
It's what RBG would have wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Next show.
And then
Oh, go ahead.
No, it's not worth it.
I'll be the judge of that.
That was good. Okay.
I don't know. After the whole Cajun thing, if she's willing to say it's not worth it, I want to believe her.
Touche.
He gets it.
Next show, Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I know Blake's going to have a lot to say about this show. First couple seasons, like I've never been a huge fan of this show, but you know it's had episodes that have made me laugh. First few seasons I thought was pretty good, but like after a certain point I just got really fucking sick of this show because eventually every episode was the same. Oh, they're poor and kind of dirty. Let's watch them do something illegal.
I love it. I love the show. I can't even fully explain why. I think they're just such garbage people that I really enjoyed it. I don't know. There's just something about their weird ass dynamic and fucking Danny DeVito being on the show, and watching Danny DeVito's character go from like fairly functional to absolutely out of his fucking mind was such a joy to experience. There are just some episodes that stick out to me. Like one of my favorites was whenever it's not Charlie. Damn.
Mac?
Thank you. Mac runs into, I think, an ex-girlfriend who used to have a penis.
Yeah, I remember that.
and she doesn't have it anymore, and he can't understand how that works. and he quotes Bible verses at her, and there's just something so horrible, but so funny about watching this idiot that it just makes me feel, I think it makes me feel better. I think that's why I love the show. I think that I'm total garbage, and then I see them, and I go, maybe I do stand a chance.
Oh, excuse me, I dropped my Magnum condom for my monster Dom.
Oh, sorry, one other thing that's my favorite is the time they go out to the Jersey Shore.
Yeah.
and they get drunk off the ham or whatever. Oh
Yeah,
my god,
the rum ham.
so gross, but so funny.
Go ahead, Blake.
The creator, who is Mac, but he described it as the opposite of Friends, as in, just a group of friends that are just terrible people. I would dare say it's the opposite of Friends because it's actually funny, but it's probably my favorite episode in a long time. I mean, obviously everyone's going to say Dayman versus Nightman or whatever, but probably the best one was when Charlie... No, it's Mac. Mac is almost killed by a falling piano, and Frank screams out, "Look out, Faggot." I'm not going to say it, but Charlie kicks him out of the way. Piano smashes down, and then they're arguing over the morals and logistics of the situation, being like, you just said a slur at me, and he's like, no, but I saved your life, and it's like, well, then which one is it? And then just the title card comes up, hero or hate crime. It's just an entire courtroom episode of them being like, should I sue him for money or did he save my life? And then they bring in the bicycle that Mac made, that with every pedal a dildo comes up. It's like, Mac, we've seen the bike. It's like, no, that's to keep me, from falling asleep.
My god, that's so funny.
But yeah, that's probably my favorite episode in a long time.
My favorite joke is from the Halloween episode where they keep trying to remember the party and who knocked D up.
Yes,
and
that is such a good episode.
My favorite joke comes from that episode, and it's the joke where every time each one tells their version of the story, Dee progressively becomes more and more bird-like until eventually she's an actual fucking ostrich.
Yes.
Oh, hey, Dee.
So funny.
Dynasty.
Oh, man.
Shady Nasty. And he does... Frank's backstory is that he did so much cocaine, that's how he became bald.
Oh my god, that's right. Oh, sorry, I know we all have a million. One more thing. Another episode I love is whenever he marries the chick with the dead tooth.
Yeah, I remember that.
I haven't seen that one.
Oh my god, it's such a good episode. It's an early episode. I forget which character am I thinking of. It's not Mac, it's not Charlie.
Dennis,
thank you. Dennis is obsessed with this girl from his past and then convinces her to marry him, and he's like, oh yeah, I fucking won that. And then you find out she's super weird and annoying and smells like mayonnaise, and then and then he's like, ew, what smells or what tastes weird on you? And apparently she has a dead tooth. Oh, it's such a gross, funny, oh fuck, I love it so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
Next show, How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, fuck.
Which, this is another show I didn't realize started in 2005. I thought this was a show that started way later.
No, that sounds about right, though.
It was on TV for a while. When I saw it start in 2005, God. I did have to have a moment where I was like, oh, yeah, that did have 10 or 11 seasons.
Which, can I be honest, that surprises me, but okay.
I mean, the episodes I've seen are pretty decent. I never watched the show religiously. I mean, I really like Neil Patrick Harris in that show, but I like Neil Patrick Harris in general.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
Yeah, but the episodes I saw were good. The humor's good. The characters are well written and well acted. But I remember when this show ended, I remember when I heard about that series finale, I remember being so upset on behalf of the people who were invested in this show from the beginning. I had never seen a show give the middle finger to its audience on such a level before.
Yeah, because I can tell you right now, as a non-fan of that show, if I would have invested that much time and then found out they did me like that, I probably would have thrown my television.
Yeah,
ugh.
What you got to say, Blake?
It was funny for a few episodes, but honestly, even well before the finale, like it just, I don't know, it kind of lost its zing with me.
Mm-hmm.
And then the main guy, Ted,
Yeah.
I can't stand him. Like he is just the most
He's like
annoying.
Foreman in that 70s show. Like he should not be the quote unquote hero.
He is discount Ross from Friends. It's just there's just something about him where he's just so fucking annoying and probably just I don't know. There's just something real pushover about him. Of course, like you said, Foreman from that '70s show. But yeah, it's just I can't get into a show if I don't like the hero of that show or the protagonist or whatever. But and then this was really the beginning of Neil Patrick Harris as like a pop culture myth when he really just became a caricature of himself.
Yeah.
But it was this in Harold and Kumar really, where it's just like, okay, he's just kind of playing like, I don't know, a mythical version of him.
He's playing the opposite of himself.
Yeah. But no, it's a terrible finale. So I'm glad I skipped it. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Next show, The Colbert Report. Oh my! I remember just absolutely being tickled to death watching Stephen Colbert and the character he portrayed on this show, and just how he went around making everybody uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan. So fun backstory about me. I officially had met him twice during the taping of the show, but it's funny because neither of those times were in conjunction with when I worked on his campaign for truthiness that he did in DC, which is just so funny because it's like having worked on the campaign for 3 months to put it together, having never really met him much during that time, but then the other 2 times were like completely unrelated to that that need. But I just had like the best time putting it together and like working with his staff and all these people, and they'd essentially told me like, hey, you're great. Like, when you're old enough, I was 16 at the time is when I got my start in comedy. And they were like, when you're older, like, come back to us and maybe we can talk. And I never did. Because I'm a moron. But I loved it because I just like, you know, he was such a good counterpart to The Daily Show. Yeah. Like, it was just such a fantastic block of television and just so well done and so relatable, so funny, because the satire was just so perfect. Like, I don't think no hate for Trevor Noah or, you know, anyone else that has tried to kind of do that format, you know, all love to them, but it was so perfect. I don't think you'll ever be able to replicate that type of dynamic again.
No, and they've tried so hard. Like, Trevor Noah is a worthy successor to Jon Stewart. And I mean, personally, I preferred watching The Daily Show over The Colbert Report, just my personal preference. But like you said, that block was just fantastic. And they ever since Colbert left and Jon Stewart left, they have tried so hard to replicate it, and they got a worthy successor in Trevor Noah. But they have not, and they have tried so hard to fill that void that Colbert left, and they just can't. They tried to do it with what the fuck was his name? Larry Wilmore, that show he had. For like a minute. And I mean, it was okay.
Well, because here's my opinion on I don't know. There's something very genuine about Jon Stewart. I think because you know what's funny is Jon Stewart, if I'm not mistaken, correct, was not the original host.
No, he wasn't.
It was Craig
Kilborn.
Yes.
And I totally forgot. I never knew that before.
Yeah, he never did it for me. But it's just so funny because, you know, before he ever did The Daily Show, you know, I remember watching Jon Stewart get killed in the movie The Faculty.
Yeah.
And, of course, you know, being Big Daddy with Adam Sandler.
We wasted the good surprise on you.
You!
Yeah.
Hooters.
I can wipe my own ass. I can wipe my own ass.
Oh man, that is such a great movie. But it's so interesting to have this guy do those pieces and then turn out to be so fucking thoughtful, like this genuine, well put together, incredibly original voice, and then the insanity to have, like, what are the odds that you then have Stephen Colbert be, similar to the whole format for The Daily Show, but actually be a caricature, like you said, be a joke unto himself, and people could not tell the difference of who he was.
Yeah.
You could not spot the difference, and to me it was phenomenal acting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Such a fan, obviously.
Yeah, and that was one of the things that, like, would almost annoy me about it, but I had to remind myself not to take it out on him, was, like, so many people, well, maybe not so many, but enough people to be annoying, did not seem to grasp the concept that Stephen Colbert was basically turning Opposite Day into a TV show.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't literally that character. He didn't have those opinions. And I just remember having conservative friends on Facebook, so many times they would link, like, his newest video that was obviously satire, and be like, oh man, he really nailed it on this one. And it's like, you were really dumb. Like, this entire channel is wasted on you.
Yeah.
But yeah,
those are the same people who now, with Trevor Noah hosting The Daily Show, constantly, comment like, oh, fuck Trevor Noah, he's so biased. Jon Stewart at least was fair and balanced. And I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. If you think Jon Stewart wouldn't be saying the same shit as Trevor Noah is right now, then you did not watch Jon Stewart, or at least didn't pay attention to him.
Yeah, he didn't pay attention. Yeah. I mean, he had to come off somewhat independent for the sake of, like, just not being, I guess, overly biased. But yeah. When people would be like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna watch this segment on the news, I'm just gonna watch the Jon Stewart recap of it. It's like, ultimately, Jon Stewart specifically pulls the lever for one person over the other. So, for you not to understand that, fuck.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting grumpy now.
Well, then let's move on to music. I'm just going to run through the music I have listed here, and we can just kind of talk about it as a whole, since we're on a little long and the too much macaroni sweats are starting to set in.
Oh, Jesus.
So we got A Fever, You Can't Sweat Out by Panic at the Disco. I am not a fan of Panic at the Disco. I never really listened to them much, but I know tons of people who have. This song, My Humps by Black Eyed Peas, was just... My main memory of that song is Will Ferrell singing it in Blades of Glory for some fucking reason.
Jesus God.
Yeah.
It's such a funny part, though.
It is.
What you gonna do with all that junk?
Yeah.
All that junk. I'm gonna get you. It's like, why are you singing that? It's provocative.
Gets the people going.
Yeah.
Love it.
Feel Good Incorporated by Gorillaz. This basically became like the theme song to that band.
Yeah.
Don't You
Yeah.
by the Pussycat Dolls. Now, I mentioned in the first episode that Oops, I Did It Again by Britney Spears was the theme song the girls who went to school just to start fights. This is the song
Yeah.
those girls graduated to when they went to high school.
Oh, 100.
Bad Day by Daniel Powder. Who didn't give themselves a sad hand job to this song? At least once.
You're not wrong. Yeah.
Photograph by Nickelback. I mean...
Yeah.
The jokes about that song are better than the song itself.
100%. Yes.
And then finally, From Under the Cork Tree by Fall Out Boy, another band I just didn't really listen to that much. What do you guys got to say about this music scene of this year?
It was a weird time.
There was like a
Yes.
lot of different things going on. It kind of felt like the music scene was just throwing stuff at the wall and just seeing what stuck.
Exactly, because at least like with certain years in the 80s, it's like, okay, they're obviously going for a certain path, a certain pull. But then, like, when you have years like this, especially throughout like the rest of this decade, it's like, what's the main thing here?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Well, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
no, go ahead. No, I was waiting for you.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, it is interesting, and you guys are absolutely right. It's like, I was thinking about the Black Eyed Peas, and it was like, man, do you remember when it wasn't ironic to like them?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like you didn't hate them. You're like, oh, did you get that new Black Eyed Peas CD? Like, oh, man, that's great. I just got it off of Napster. It's
yeah,
so,
I
it's so
remember-
weird.
I remember when "Where Is the Love" came out, and people thought it was just the most profound, bring a tear to your eyes song ever, and
It was going to fix racism.
yeah. Well, but thankfully we had the Pepsi can do that. But
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
I don't know. It's
Yeah,
just-
you're not wrong. That song, you're totally right. That song was like everywhere. And then after people had cried out to that, they would have the edited version, "Let's Get It Started,"
Mm-hmm.
which is hilarious when you found out that the
Yeah.
"Let's Get Retarded" was the real title. I just want to know, Jesus Christ, I just want to know what executive saw this lineup on the CD and was like, I'm totally okay with this. There's not going to be any problems. It's going to be fine. There was a song.
I feel like there was a dare
called
where
Let's
somebody
Get
was like,
Retarded.
I bet you can't make this for Kids Bop.
Man,
They were against one R word, but they were fine with the other R word.
I just want to know that there was one abortion clinic somewhere in the United States where some girl's waiting there trying not to cry that her dumb boyfriend that works at Wendy's dumped in her and forgot to pull out. And while she's sitting there, she just hears, "Let's get retarded. Let's get retarded in here." Just somewhere that just sits in my mental bank.
What a vivid image.
Nice.
Happy hump day.
Why?
Anybody got anything else to say about music?
Nah, I'm pretty dead.
Okay.
It was no. It was but no. I would say more than anything else, I would remember 2005 as like the golden age of like the emo scene.
Yeah.
Because those are like the two like golden albums really of that time. And he came out the same year, but yeah. So I remember I saw both Panic at the Disco and Fall Out Boy live 2018, and I was like, yeah, that summer was definitely an ode to freshman year of high school. So, but yeah.
You aren't wrong. That was a lot of black eyeshadow, really shitty bangs, and awkward asymmetrical haircuts.
Yeah.
And like lots of trips to Hot Topic and be like, God, Mom, you don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Black and white long sleeve t-shirts.
Yes.
Yep.
Underneath your short sleeve t-shirts.
All right, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I didn't wear like the black and white like shirt, but I wore like the long sleeve shirt underneath the short sleeve shirt. Shit was pretty.
Yeah.
Shit was pretty comfy. I ain't gonna lie.
But it was hot as fuck.
Well, that's why you did it during the winter, man.
But I mean,
Our high school
did
had shitty fucking heat, man. Like,
I was gonna say I did it during the summer because I was like, if I do this, they won't know I'm fat.
I remember that if you wore a long sleeve shirt under a short sleeve shirt, that meant you really, really liked music. So.
nah, man. I just wanted to keep warm because our high school was still using coal to heat the building.
And asbestos.
And asbestos.
Let me heat your body and your lungs.
No, we're not joking. That's like an actual fact about our high school. The place was built in like the 1870s.
Wait, did you guys go to school in like Cumberland, LaVale?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
The school did not have a lot of structural integrity.
No, look, I'm not gonna shit on your school because I get it. Again,
Why, we do.
private. But I mean, like, it's not really my right. But like, look, I went to private Christian school, and I'd be like, "Can we turn up the heat?" And they're like, "Why? Do you want to go to hell?" Okay.
Bitch, maybe I do. Well, let's move on to the last topic for the evening, video games. Some fun shit came out this year. First one, Resident Evil 4, which is pretty much like, if you ask anybody, what's your favorite Resident Evil game, almost all of them say 4. Star Wars Battlefront 2, oh my god, that fucking game. I remember so many nights, so many hours being spent, get-togethers with the boys. One of 2 games was getting played. Tony Hawk's Underground 2 or Star Wars Battlefront 2. Fucking,
Yeah.
I like Tony Hawk.
I mean, yeah. But fucking Star Wars Battlefront 2. I just remember so many nights playing that game with the guys. I remember you and me, Blake, playing this game a lot back in the day.
Oh, yeah. Especially Mos Eisley, when you can do all the heroes and villains.
Yeah. I remember
That was a fun game.
I remember a lot of hateful words being thrown at each other.
Then you must have been thinking to yourself, because I didn't talk like that to you. That's my shame for the weekend. Shame for the episode. Wow, I'm so fucking tired right now.
Another game that came out, God of War, which fucking phenomenal game.
Super iconic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I still own it, and still every now and then I'm like, I just gotta pop that game in and just play it again, just for the sake of it. And the most recent one, like, somehow managed to like kick it up another level just when you thought it was all done and over with. And then Guitar Hero, which kicked off a cultural phenomenon, which, for better or for worse, kicked off a cultural phenomenon. Like, this was another game that was played a lot during get-togethers. Just a lot of nights spent playing this game. But it also started this era where everybody thought that since they were good at this game, they could play an actual guitar.
Oh, man. It always makes me think of that South Park episode.
Yeah.
And they do, like, the competitions, and they're just like, oh, man, can he really nail the riff from Wayward Son?
I could play acoustically. Oh, man, I love this song.
Oh, my God. Am I wrong? Is that the same episode where Stan's dad, right, farts into the mic with Steamy Nicks?
Yeah. Calls himself Steamy Nicks.
Steamy Nicks. Oh, that got me so good.
Last game for 2005, Kingdom Hearts 2. Holy fuck, this game. I mean, Kingdom Hearts, just from the get-go, got everybody's attention and kicked off a huge fucking fan base. And I remember the second Kingdom Hearts 2 came out, everybody was immediately like, how the fuck are they going to follow this game up? When are they going to follow this game up? And we got Kingdom Hearts 2, and it was so much better in every way than the first game. It's still one of the best games in the series, in my opinion. So what do you guys got to say about that? Also, what was your best song on Guitar Hero?
So
it doesn't have to be the first game. It could be any Guitar Hero game.
So I didn't play the first Guitar Hero because I actually played the electric guitar. So, like, I didn't need to.
All right.
Be real.
Yeah. I could play Island in the Sun by Weezer. So, like, I guess you could say I was pretty good.
Oh, Weezer, a band famous for their mediocrity.
Hey, I like Weezer, but, like, to my credit, yeah, it's a song that only has, like, 4 chords. So.
Hey, that's one more chord than Elvis knew.
Shit.
What?
I don't know. I would say "Killing in the Name of" by Rage Against the Machine.
That's
a
good one.
I just, like you said, I remember it started so much pretentiousness with guys, because the one thing is, I can watch other people play. Well, I mean, the whole topic and issue of how watching other people play video games became such a thing should be a completely different discussion. But I mean, I can watch other guys play Halo or Call of Duty or whatever. Like, watching other people play Guitar Hero just isn't fun at all, because you're just listening to music, which whatever, while you're seeing colors. But I remember it started this breed of dude who thought they were so amazing just because they were, pretty good at it, which is good for them and all. But I specifically remember one kid we went to high school with, and he and all of his buddies were in the library, and they were watching Guitar Hero videos. And it was this guy, he was doing the hardest song on the hardest difficulty, like literally as hard as it got. And the dude 100%ed it. He was hitting all the notes and getting all the bonuses or extras or whatever and everything. And his friends were like, oh, he's really good. And finally he just goes, nah, he's not even that good. And it's like, he literally could not be any better. Like, you need to calm down and stop. But
Guitar Hero was also like caused a lot of people to think Dragon Force was good.
And then people actually went to their concert and heard them live and was like, never mind.
Yeah. Have you ever noticed that every band with the word dragon in their name is fucking awful?
Yeah. No, but I mean, like, I can't be the only person who was annoyed by that. There was this random month and a half where Dragon Force was popular, and it was like, why?
Yeah.
And then you never heard of them again.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Through the Fire and Flames was that song. Mm-hmm. And I think that was the hardest song.
It was.
I think that was
considered like at least one of the hardest songs.
It was considered one of the hardest songs, and then people were like, "Oh man, let's go see him live." And it's just like, it was the greatest record scratch the world ever heard.
It topped when Kiss took their makeup off for the first time.
Or that one guy in my history class who talked about Magic Johnson.
Yeah. Tell that story real quick, please.
Oh God, that's such. And you know what? This would be around that time period anyway, so I guess it goes with the episode. So, I was in a current world issues class in high school, and there was a classmate named Ishmael. Yes, that was his name. I fucking love this dude with all my heart. He was my buddy. Like, he and I just quoted Chappelle's Show every day, all day. And I remember one, because this was a real thing. People forget, like, Dave Chappelle didn't make this up. There was an episode where the substitute teacher took out a VHS and said, all right, we're going to watch a Frontline video. Ishmael and I just looked at each other and busted out laughing at Frontline. And it's just, we were just quoting Clayton Bigsby. Well, I mean, he was quoting Clayton Bigsby the whole episode, the whole class. I could just be like, oh, yeah, I remember that part too, Ishmael. But anyway. So anyway, they start going on about racism, and people are like arguing against it. And of course, the difference is today you would have some kids in class who would be arguing for it. But finally, he gives this passionate, empowered speech about don't judge other people and be yourself, and no one should be judged for their creed or their color, but their character. And people are like, oh yeah, Ishmael, you're really getting it this class. And finally he just goes, I mean, look at Magic Johnson. He has stock in Starbucks. Now everybody wants AIDS. and just at that point, everyone was like, Ishmael's never going to talk again. Oh, fuck. I miss that class.
Now everybody wants AIDS.
Wow, and you were mad at me about the Cajuns.
No, I mean, this was Ishmael said that, not me.
I'm pretty sure you just made Ishmael up so you could project your...
Listen,
turns out Ishmael was the friends we made along the way.
Oh, fuck you. Anyway, listen, if I wanted to make up a guy, don't you think I would have picked a more common name than Ishmael?
No, because you know what? You picked Ishmael, so it would sound so crazy, it just might be believable. Did you just Kaiser Soze your racism?
Oh my god.
Kaiser Ishmael.
Oh man, I'm gonna shit myself.
And I don't know, but I don't know how to prove that he existed. He doesn't have Facebook.
Sure, he doesn't.
It was like that one kid we all knew would be like, yeah, I have a girlfriend. She just goes to a different school and doesn't know anybody that you know. She's from the Niagara Falls area.
All right. Anybody else? Anybody else got anything else to say?
No.
All right.
I promise if we ever do this again, I will try to do it on a day where I haven't been up for 20 hours.
Feel that. But you know what? Despite all of us, despite being sleep deprived and me close to destroying my guts, I think we had a good show tonight.
I had a great time.
Well, I'm glad you had a great time.
Oh, thanks, Daddy.
No.
No.
All right. I had a great time up until just.
Well, great show tonight, guys. Thank you, Ashley, for joining us tonight and contributing to the laughs.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Again, everybody listening, you can see Ashley perform stand-up this Friday, October 2nd at the Art Gastropub in Hagerstown. Show starts at 8 p.m. And then October 10th, State Theater in, I'm so tired. I can't pronounce the name of the town.
Havarti.
Havarti.
Havarti and
Grace,
Cola.
Maryland.
They get the job done.
What?
Havarti and Cola.
And you can also hear Ashley on the Quality Time podcast on Spotify, Podbean, and Apple. And then you can also find this episode if you missed it. Tuned in late, you can find us on Spotify, Google, Apple, and YouTube. You can follow Blake on Twitter at Puka Saucy. He's got some art coming out probably at some point. You can follow me on Twitter at Don John Laughs. And you can follow the Fat Minute on Twitter and Facebook at Fat Minute Radio. So on that note, good night, everybody.
Good night.
Be good and stay safe.
Bye.